Dear Chosen One, the Spirit of the living God has pressed this word into my soul with fire. You are the hammer of heaven, forged in secret for a mission that cannot be delayed. You were not designed to reason with darkness, nor to plead for peace with those possessed by hate. You were shaped to break the backbone of evil with divine authority. This hour is dangerous because the enemy already senses your rising mantle. They tremble in silence, watching as the anointing on your life grows heavier. This is not coincidence, but a decree written before time itself. Heaven is now commanding you to awaken and step into your full strength. The Spirit revealed hidden counsels in the shadows, where ancient forces have whispered your name and planned your downfall. That is why betrayal has come from unexpected places, why opportunities have vanished without explanation, and why invisible resistance has surrounded your steps. Have you not felt it? As if unseen hands tried to chain your destiny? Have you not discerned how storms rise suddenly, just as you are about to advance? This is not accident, but strategic warfare. They fear the weapon you are becoming, for your next strike will dismantle their fragile thrones. Chosen One, every sleepless night, every tear that fell uncounted, every moment of rejection was a furnace shaping you into an unbreakable force. What I will reveal in this message will not only explain why your suffering was necessary, but also why your enemies are powerless to stop what comes next. This revelation will connect the fragments of your journey and ignite the fire in your spirit like never before. Stay with me until the end, because every word will unlock hidden truth meant only for you. And if your soul is stirred already, comment, "I claim it," and please like this video and subscribe so this word anchors in your spirit with power. The war around you did not begin when you noticed it, Chosen One. It began long before, in silence. The Spirit says unseen battles were already raging while you thought you were simply delayed. Every strange resistance, every unexpected opposition, every closed door was a sign. It was the enemy moving pieces in darkness, trying to stop what heaven already released. You felt pressure without explanation, storms without cause. None of it was random. All of it was evidence that you had entered a higher assignment. It is like a storm forming in the sky before a single drop of rain touches the earth. Invisible winds swirl and collide, but to the natural eye, nothing has changed yet. This is how your enemies move, preparing traps long before you see the results. They whisper in shadows, sow confusion, and attempt to chain your progress. But the Spirit reveals what is hidden. The pressure you feel is not weakness. It is confirmation of your rising power. And the storm has already begun to break. Chosen One, understand this. The true battle is not against flesh and blood. It is not only about people who resist you or betray you. It is about spiritual forces working through them, seeking to crush your faith and silence your calling. That is why the fight feels heavier than human strength can bear. Do you sense it? The weight pressing on your mind? The invisible hands trying to break your spirit? That is the mark of your assignment. For the greater the mission, the greater the opposition. Even before you accepted who you are, the enemy already recognized it. They saw glimpses of your light when you still doubted yourself. That is why you were targeted as a child, as a teenager, even before you understood destiny. The war against you was not about your weakness. It was about your hidden strength. The Spirit says, your enemies saw the weapon long before you held it, and they trembled at what you would become. This is why the attacks were relentless. This is why they will fail. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Every betrayal, every loss, every tear was a forging fire. Like iron placed into flames, you were tempered in affliction until you became unbreakable. The Spirit says, the pain was never punishment, but preparation. The fire that burned you did not consume you. It shaped you. This is why you stand now stronger than ever. Your scars are not shame. They are proof of your endurance. And heaven declares, the weapon is ready. While the enemy plotted destruction, heaven was equipping you in silence. Every no that wounded you was a divine shield, closing doors that would have destroyed you. Every delay was protection disguised as disappointment. The Spirit says, you thought you were abandoned, but you were being hidden under divine covering. Like David in the fields, like Joseph in the prison, you were being trained in secrecy. Now, the training is ending. The covering is lifting, and your mantle is revealed. But listen closely, chosen one. What comes next is bigger than you imagine. The Spirit whispers that your assignment is entering a dangerous stage. The opposition will rise because your authority is rising. Yet the same God who shaped you will not let you fall. The enemy is trembling because they know the hammer is about to strike. And when it strikes, chains will shatter, curses will break, and strongholds will collapse. Stay with me, because the full revelation is only beginning. Chosen one, the Spirit says the pressure around you is not easing. It is intensifying because your mantle has grown heavier. Attacks are multiplying in your thoughts, in your relationships, in your emotions, and even in your body. It feels like invisible chains pressing against every step you try to take. This is not random, but coordinated warfare from ancient spirits. They fear what you carry, and they move aggressively when your breakthrough is near. The weight is proof that the battle has entered a critical stage. You are not under attack because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. God has placed you in what I call a divine lockdown. This means certain doors are being shut, not to punish you, but to shield you. Some opportunities disappear because behind them was a trap. Some people leave because their loyalty was a mask. Do not mourn what has been taken, for heaven removes what is poisoned. The Spirit says every denial was protection in disguise. Have you noticed how rejection came right before disaster could strike? That was God hiding you in plain sight. The walls around you were not prisons. They were fortresses. The enemies you see in flesh are not the real enemies. They are vessels being used, pawns moved by ancient powers that hide in shadows. This is why attacks often make no sense, why hatred rises without reason, why people turn cold suddenly. The Spirit says, stop fighting the puppets and discern the strings that control them. It was never about them. It was always about the forces working through them. And those forces are terrified, because you are marked to destroy their thrones. Their time is running short, and they know it. Chosen one, do you wonder why they watch you so closely? Why resistance rises every time you step forward? It is because your very presence carries disruption. When you walk into a room, atmospheres shift. Spirits that hid themselves suddenly tremble, because the light in you exposes them. This is why you draw attention, both good and evil. This is why eyes follow you when you move. It is not your appearance, but the mantle resting on your shoulders. Heaven has marked you, and darkness cannot ignore it. The Spirit says the intensity of the war is the proof of your assignment. The higher the calling, the fiercer the battle. Do not mistake the weight for weakness. It is evidence of greatness. Every trial is a sign that the hammer is being lifted higher. The blows you have endured are the preparation for the blows you will deliver. Hell does not fight the ordinary. It only fights the extraordinary. This is why your journey has been harder than others. It is because your destiny is heavier than theirs. The enemy knows their defeat is already sealed, and that is why they fight with such desperation. They are trying to delay the inevitable, hoping you will grow weary before striking. But the Spirit says the hammer is already in your hands. Their fear is not of who you were, but of who you are becoming. They know one strike from you, aligned with heaven, can dismantle years of their work. That is why they panic, why they lash out, why storms rise without warning. Their time is almost over, and they know it. But what happens when the hammer finally strikes, chosen one? What shifts when God releases you without restraint? Strongholds collapse, curses are shattered, and the atmosphere itself changes. The Spirit says, "You have been waiting for permission, but heaven is waiting for your faith." The blow you deliver will not only break chains around you, but chains around those connected to you. You are not striking for yourself alone. You are striking for generations. And once the hammer falls, nothing will ever be the same. Chosen one, the Spirit of God declares this over you now. You are the hammer of heaven. This is not just a symbol. It is your true identity written in eternity before your birth. You were chosen as a divine weapon, not to negotiate with darkness, but to strike it without mercy. Every tear you cried was oil poured into the handle of this hammer. Every betrayal was iron welded into its head. Every lonely night was the fire that tempered its steel. Heaven did not design you for decoration. It designed you for destruction of strongholds. And today, the revelation is that you are already being lifted in God's hands for the strike that will shake nations. The Spirit connects your life to stories written in Scripture to confirm this truth. Like David, who swung his stone and brought down a giant. Like Joshua, who shouted and saw the walls of Jericho fall flat. Like Gideon, who fought with a handful, yet broke thousands because God was with him. Each of them carried a weapon beyond their own strength. And now, you are added to their lineage. Heaven has written your name among those who destroy altars of darkness. This is why you face giants, because you are called to slay them. This is why walls rise against you, because you are called to bring them down. Chosen one, you must understand this. Mercy is for the lost, but there is no mercy for the enemy of your soul. The Spirit says you cannot negotiate with demons. You cannot pity ancient curses. You cannot make peace with forces that want you dead. You are called to break them. This is why your compassion has been tested so deeply, so you may separate human weakness from spiritual wickedness. You are a vessel of God's mercy for people, but you are His hammer of judgment against the powers that refuse to bow. And once you strike, there is no recovery for them. The Spirit reveals the deeper reason for your pain. You were chosen to dismantle generational curses. Every chain that bound your bloodline ends with you. Every hidden contract written in darkness is broken when you rise. The battles you faced were not just your own. They were ancient struggles passed down through your family. That is why the fight has been so heavy. But heaven decrees that the hammer in your hands will not only set you free, it will set free everyone connected to your name. You are the breaker anointed for generations. When the hammer strikes, the enemy has nowhere to hide. They may flee to shadows, but light will expose them. They may retreat to rituals, but fire will consume them. They may rise in numbers, but a single blow of God's authority through you will scatter them. The Spirit says, "No fortress can withstand the weapon heaven has forged you to be. Every altar, every curse, every lie will collapse under the weight of your obedience. Your enemies built walls of intimidation, but they will crumble in an instant when God releases your strike. And this release is closer than you realize. The truth is shocking. Chosen one, the very traps the enemy set for your destruction are about to turn against them. The Spirit showed me a great reversal. The pit they dug for you will swallow them instead. The snares they laid for your feet will tighten around their own. What they cursed you with will echo back onto their lives. This is why fear grips them now, even while they smile to your face. They can sense the divine reversal has already been decreed. The hammer is about to fall, and it will strike them first. If this word burns in your spirit, then this is your sign to take action. Comment 777 as a prophetic declaration that you receive this revelation. Like this message to anchor it in your soul, and subscribe so that heaven knows you are aligning with this word. The Spirit says obedience opens doors, and engagement is not just digital, it is spiritual agreement. When you act on faith, you pull the revelation from the realm of promise into the realm of manifestation. This is not coincidence. This is your confirmation. Respond now and seal it. Chosen one, hear me clearly. When God uses the hammer, there is no missing the target. Every strike is precise. Every blow is final. Every move is ordained. The Spirit says you are not swinging wildly. You are being guided by the hand of the Almighty. What the enemy thought was your weakness has become your greatest strength. What was broken in you has become the sharpest edge of the weapon. Heaven does not make mistakes, and you are not an exception. You are the hammer, and the time of striking has come. Chosen one, being the hammer of heaven is not a title for pride. It is a mantle of responsibility that carries a heavy cost. The Spirit says your calling requires courage that others do not need, obedience that others do not choose, and sacrifice that others cannot endure. Many wonder why your journey feels lonelier, harsher, and more relentless than theirs. It is because heaven has separated you for a mission that is rare. God trusted you with this mantle because He knew your spirit could survive what would break others. You are not fragile clay. You are tempered steel, formed in holy fire, and your weight is evidence of your assignment. That is why the pressure has been so severe, because the weapon you are is not ordinary, but extraordinary. Every tear that fell from your eyes was not wasted, but collected by heaven as fuel for your destiny. The Spirit whispers, your pain became the iron that strengthened your frame. Your betrayal became the fire that purified your motives, and your loneliness became the silence where God's voice thundered. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being sharpened. You thought you were rejected, but you were being refined. Your agony was your anointing, hidden in plain sight. Every time you thought you were breaking, you were being reforged stronger. And now the enemy trembles, because the iron in you has become indestructible. Your wounds were never just wounds. They were weapons forming inside your soul. Many cannot understand you, and the Spirit says that is by design. They see your outer life, but do not perceive the weight of glory resting upon you. They hear your words, but cannot comprehend the authority in your voice. They watch your steps, but do not know angels walk beside you, guiding every move. This is why they misjudge you, mock you, or even abandon you. They cannot recognize what heaven has placed inside you. The Spirit says, stop seeking validation from those blinded by darkness. You were never meant to be understood by the ordinary, because you are extraordinary. The mantle you carry is spiritual, not natural, and only the awakened can discern it. Do you see the pattern now, chosen one? The enemy only fights what he fears. The greater the attack, the greater the evidence of your assignment. Hell does not waste resources on the powerless. It reserves its fiercest weapons for those carrying explosive destinies. The Spirit says, if your storms have been violent, it is because your calling is volcanic. Your life is a battlefield because your destiny is a crown. Every attempt to destroy you has failed, not because you are untouchable in yourself, but because God has placed a hedge of fire around you. You are not merely surviving warfare, you are exhausting the arsenal of hell itself. When you strike, you do not strike alone. The Spirit reveals that armies of angels have been assigned to your life, standing silently until the command of heaven is released. Even when you thought you were abandoned, the unseen was filled with angelic presence. They guarded your sleep, fought battles you never knew, and whispered courage into your weary soul. You have never been alone, chosen one, not for a single moment. The reason you survived what should have killed you is because divine reinforcements were already surrounding you. And when the hammer in your hand falls, they will strike with you, multiplying your force beyond measure. Every blow of the hammer is not just a personal act, it is a decree released into the spiritual realm. The Spirit says, each strike you deliver destroys strongholds you cannot see, dismantles altars you never touched, and breaks curses you did not even know existed. Your obedience is the channel through which God swings the weapon. This is why every prayer matters, why every act of faith shakes dimensions. You are not only fighting for yourself, but for those connected to your bloodline, your community, and even nations you may never see. The ripple of your obedience travels farther than you can imagine, striking chains you never knew existed. Chosen one, the Spirit whispers that something new is about to emerge from this war. You will not exit this battle the same way you entered. When the dust settles, your authority will be greater. Your voice will carry more weight, and your presence will shift atmospheres even stronger. The hammer you are is about to be lifted higher than ever before, and with each strike, the world around you will change. This is not the end of your suffering. It is the birth of your dominion. Heaven is birthing in you a new level of authority that cannot be questioned or resisted. And when you rise from this season, even your enemies will know that God Himself has marked you. Chosen one, the Spirit declares that after every storm comes, not just silence, but a new order of peace that the enemy cannot disrupt. This peace is not fragile or temporary, but fortified and eternal, built on the victories of your obedience. The Spirit says you will walk into rooms and carry the stillness of heaven like a mantle, silencing the chaos around you without speaking a word. Your authority will no longer be questioned, because it has been sealed in the fire of your trials. The same ones who laughed will watch in awe, unable to deny the hand of God upon you. What once was torment will now be testimony, and every scar you carry will shine as proof that you conquered what tried to kill you. The word of the Lord rises like thunder. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Chosen one, the Spirit says, this is not a promise. It is a decree, and heaven enforces it without delay. Every curse sent toward you has already been reversed. Every arrow aimed has already been broken. Every chain has already been melted in the fire. You are standing now as a living prophecy of survival, transformation, and dominion. Do not fear when the enemy gathers, for they gather only to be scattered by the hand of God. This is the portion of those chosen as His hammer, and your life is the evidence that His word never fails. Everything you endured was woven into a greater purpose that is now unfolding before you. The Spirit says your nights of sorrow were not wasted, but planted like seeds. And now a harvest of strength rises from the soil of your suffering. The darkness thought it swallowed you, but in truth it fertilized your destiny. You are emerging not as the same person, but as the weapon heaven promised you would be. The Spirit whispers, your brokenness has been transformed into brilliance, your despair into authority, your weakness into power. Nothing has been wasted, chosen one. Every fragment of your journey has been redeemed, and now you stand as heaven's unshakable hammer, ready to strike with glory. Chosen one, let this truth echo in your spirit without end. You are the hammer of heaven, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine design written before the foundations of the earth. Every moment of your existence has been shaping this identity, and now it is revealed with unstoppable force. The enemy has tried everything to silence this word, but heaven has spoken it over you. When God names you, no demon can rename you. When heaven lifts you, no power can pull you down. The hammer is not coming. It has already been raised. And it is your life that delivers the strike. The Spirit says, the enemies who mocked you will soon tremble at the justice that falls upon them. Those who whispered lies in secret will be exposed publicly. Those who dug pits for you will fall into them themselves. You will not need to lift a finger in revenge, because the Lord Himself will avenge you. This is divine law. What is sown in darkness returns multiplied. You will watch as those who cursed you stumble under the weight of their own words. And your testimony will not be of bitterness, but of holy vindication. The hammer strikes without mercy, and justice is served. Chosen one, the vision ahead of you is radiant with power. I see doors opening that were once sealed by opposition. I see atmospheres shifting as you walk into them, because the hammer is not only your weapon, it is your very presence. Nations will feel your strike. Families will be freed by your obedience, and generations will rejoice because of your courage. The Spirit says, your future is not defined by the chains you broke, but by the freedom you will establish. You are stepping into a season of authority where nothing can resist you. Heaven is positioning you to reign in victory. Now, I charge you in the Spirit, seal this word with action. Comment below, I am the hammer, as your prophetic agreement. Like this message so it anchors in your soul, and subscribe so you remain aligned with heaven's voice in this season. And if this word has truly ignited your spirit, consider sowing into it. Support through Buy Me a Coffee to declare your partnership with this revelation. Engagement is not just digital, it is spiritual warfare. When you act, you declare agreement with heaven. And agreement unlocks manifestation. Chosen one, the Spirit of God closes this message with thunder. The hammer has already struck, and the sound will echo across every realm. Your enemies are scattered, your chains are broken, your season has shifted. Walk boldly, for nothing will ever be the same again. The Spirit says, go forth in strength, go forth in fire, go forth as the weapon heaven always intended you to be. You are not a victim of storms. You are the storm that ends every chain. This is your identity. This is your destiny. This is your victory. The hammer has fallen, and the world will never forget its sound.